Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the 11th episode of our Tech Security 101 webinar series. For those of us that joined earlier, thank you for waiting for 5 minutes for others to join. We appreciate your patience. And for those of us that are just joining, thank you for joining us once again. My name is Chisom Anaesiuba, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. In our previous episode of this Tech Security 101 webinar series, we discussed first line of threat defense using Cisco Umbrella. And in today's session, we'll be discussing on the SolarWinds product this time. But just before we proceed, I'd just like to give us a brief background on this topic, so we have an insight into what we'll be talking about today. Enterprise networks are experiencing a storm of connectivity caused by remote accesses, virtual clients, and the large number of diverse endpoints demanding to access the network. This situation creates challenges for network administrators and engineers who need to know who is trying to connect the network to keep the enterprise network secure. More importantly, if a network manager is not aware of a device, how he can control if he's not aware of a device, how then can he control the connectivity to that device? So although there are a lot of technologies that can be developed, that can be deployed to validate devices, those technologies often come up short when it comes to detecting new devices and managing those that may only connect at certain times. Now, this brings us to the product we'll be discussing today, SolarWinds User Device Tracker. SolarWinds User Device Tracker delivers the ability to instantly detect and control devices as soon as they connect to the network, retrieve the switch name, port description, and VLAN, analyze port usage or capacity, and even alert network managers about issues before they occur. So yes, well, you may have guessed it, our topic for today is automating device traffic tracking and switch port management with SolarWinds User Device Tracker. And to take us on this topic is Temitayo Aremu, a network and security engineer at Ha-Shem Limited. Well, I'll allow Temitayo to give us some details on his competencies when I hand over to him. So just before we proceed, I would like to share some housekeeping rules which would help us have a seamless learning experience. So first off, would appreciate if everyone has their mics muted through the session. And if you have any questions as our speaker takes us through, kindly type it in the chat window or pen it down and hold on to it until the Q&A session where we'll be addressing questions. During the Q&A session, you can then signify by raising your hand with the raise hand feature in your meeting window, and I'll call on you to proceed to ask your question. Also, kindly note that this session is being recorded and would appreciate if every one of you is understanding as to why we are recording the session. The recording will be made available to everyone so you can easily make reference to it in the future. There will also be a feedback survey towards the end of the session, which would appreciate everyone filling in order for us to know how we're doing, how we can improve, and what other topics are of interest to you that you'd like us to cover in our subsequent sessions. Then finally, you can keep up with us on events like this one by following us on social media. So I'm going to share a link to our social media channels in the chat window shortly. Feel free to follow us on all or just your preferred social media channel. Again, my name is Chisom Anaesiuba. I hope you all enjoyed this session. I'll be handing over to Temitayo now to take us on this interesting topic. Thank you. Over to you, Temitayo.
Yes, thank you, Chisom. Just to confirm, can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so thank you, Chisom, for that introduction. You've introduced the product very well already, so I don't think I want to do more introduction any longer. So today, our topic for today is automated device tracking and switch port management with SolarWinds User Device Tracker. So let me just go ahead and just introduce myself. So my name is Temitayo Aremu. I'm a network and security engineer at Ha-Shem Limited. And my workloads, I work with Sophos, SolarWinds, which we'll be talking about today, Cisco, Sonos, and other network and security solutions. Also, I have certifications across Sophos and SolarWinds. I'm a Sophos certified engineer and also a SolarWinds certified professional. And for those who would like to know more about me, you can follow this link to check on my LinkedIn page in order to know more about me and my career. So our basic agenda for today, we'll be talking about what network device tracking is. And also we'll talk about the requirements for network device tracking solutions, those things that you require as an organization in a network device tracking solution before you acquire them. And also we will now talk about SolarWinds User Device Tracker, which is a network device tracking solution of SolarWinds that we'll be talking about today. Then we will look into how UDT works. Permit me, while I continue with my presentation, I might refer to SolarWinds User Device Tracker as UDT. So we'll look into how it works. Then also we'll talk about the features of SolarWinds User Device Tracker. We'll also talk about what makes SolarWinds User Device Tracker different from other network device tracking solution. Then I will take us through the interactive demo, which I'll just give a walkthrough on the solution from the demo site. Then also we'll take questions and we'll be answering them. So let us just go straight into the business of today. So what is network device tracking? Network device tracking is the ability to locate the network users and endpoint devices, including desktop computers, smartphones, laptops, tablets, printers. And this is just a layman definition about it. And network device tracking can be conducted using robust network device tracking system to help streamline and automate the device tracking process for greater efficiency. So as an administrator, it's your responsibility to ensure your company's network is running at peak performance and safe from cyber attacks. So you will actually require a network device tracking system, which can automate device tracking and switch port management, so you can understand network capacity and remain in control of who and what is connecting to your network. Tracking and storing device via a unified digital console can provide administrators also with a complete view of their infrastructure from anywhere at any time. And a complete network device tracking system is designed to integrate with other network management products like IP address managers and network configuration managers to help provide a comprehensive IT administration dashboard that can elevate your ability to maintain top of the line network performance, so that you can identifying who and what is connected to your network, as we all know, is equally as important as understanding who and what was connected to it in the past. So with network user tracking software, it can review your current IT landscape while also providing historical data. This means you can more easily and quickly identify key data like the date and time the users or device entered a network, the connection type, the specific node port, and also the access point used. So let us talk about the requirements. As an organization or administrator who wants to acquire a network device tracking solutions, there will be some things you actually want to use that solutions to do. The requirements, what your organization will actually require before you want to purchase this network device tracking solution. So before you can hit the ground running with a network device tracking software, you have to make sure it's equipped with all the necessary features. And an effective device tracking solution should include the following, which I've listed here. One is user identification. Understanding who is connecting to your network is a critical component of maintaining your network's overall security. So if you purchase a device tracking solution, you should be able to acquire user details via Active Directory, including username and contact information. It's important that this user's details can be reviewed alongside all endpoint logins, specifically endpoint name and most recent login type. So if you as an organization or an administrator is trying to purchase a network device solution, user identification is one thing you actually want to look into, and not only just bringing in those users via Active Directory to the network device tracking solution, also to be able to monitor their endpoint logins and also be able to specify the endpoint name and most recent login type. Secondly, is automated switch port discovery. Your network device tracking solution should begin monitoring device immediately. You don't want to get a network device tracking solution that you bring it to your network and it doesn't monitor whatever you have on your network. So it must monitor your device immediately, and this saves you from manually tracking devices on your operating network. So as an administrator, you don't have to go into your data centers and start locating your network devices one after the other, or maybe go to your server room and start locating one network device or the other. You can actually check this when you have a network device tracking solution in place on your network. However, the tool's jobs isn't done once it locates all existing devices. To be effective, a robust network tracking solution should be equipped to conduct regular pre-scheduled scans that automatically discover new devices to help ensure your understanding of what's on the network, and always give an up-to-date information as possible. So it's not only for you to bring in a network device solution in place of your network to manage your devices. You also has to have a capability so that you'll be able to also monitor devices. Maybe you make it changes after bringing in that particular solution. When you make a changes, that network device tracking solution should have the capability to be able to actually give you an updated information whenever a change is being made on your network. Thirdly, I'll talk about advanced alerting. This is one feature that you, as an organization, you actually want to require in a network device tracking solution. So your ability to stop an attack before your network infrastructure is compromised often depends on how quickly you are alerted to suspicious activity. And this must be a feature that has to be a requirement that has to be in your mind as an organization before you go for a network device tracking solution. The ability to be able to give you an advanced alerting, like you get an instant alert once it notices a suspicious activity on your network. Device tracking software must do more than identifying threats by having the ability to immediately alert you in real time. So it should not be that it will only be able to detect threats. It should be able to detect the threat and also alert you as an administrator immediately it detects that threat. So lastly, we'll talk about the last requirement that I have listed here, which is remote capabilities. So there's little time to waste once you've been alerted to suspicious activity or a compromised device. So remote capabilities can allow you to remotely shut down a compromised network device port with point and click simplicity. As soon as the issue is resolved, you can leverage the same system to get the port back up and running. Without these capabilities, shutting down the port to mitigate security risk or prevent network problems can be challenging. So this also must be a requirement you as an administrator or organization should look into. So the ability for you to be able to remotely check for all these monitor devices from a device from a one-pane console. So now that you know the requirements that you want to get, the requirement of the things you need before you want to purchase a network device tracking solution, let us now talk about SolarWinds User Device Tracker, which is a network device tracking solution that is being offered by a solution which is SolarWinds. So SolarWinds User UDT is an application that is installed on the network and delivers automated user and device tracking along with switch port management capabilities. This product has a browser-based interface, which is designed to allow administrator to stay in control of who and what are connecting to the network from a central browse-based console. So you can see even from this definition I've given about SolarWinds User Device Tracker, you can see that most of the requirements we stated earlier are being found in SolarWinds User Device Tracker. The ability for you to be able to connect to the network from a central browser-based console, and also the ability to be able to manage your switch ports, to be able to manage your users and device. UDT can also quickly locate an endpoint or a user, as well as track down lost or rogue devices through integrated searches that can be based upon a username, IP address, host name, or MAC address. So this product also stores historical data that will show you the last known location and when and where a device or user has connected. So now let's look into how UDT, which is SolarWinds User Device Tracker, how it works. So why comprehensive network device tracking software can boast many features, its core responsibility is to locate devices and users on the network. And this is often accomplished using discovery features. So first thing you want to do when you have SolarWinds user device tracker in your environment is to be able to discover your managed devices, and this is one thing that user device tracker possesses. You can see from the display diagram here, it provides an overview of a current SolarWinds user device tracker architecture, including you have interactions among SolarWinds UDT components, which I have job engine, mobile module engine, and also you have the SolarWinds UDT database, which is also required. This is the one who takes the statistics that is being generated by the application server. And we also have active directory domain controllers. These are the ones that it gets the information about users, all the users that you have in your organization. It takes those informations from the Active Directory domain controllers, and also not only the users' credentials and names, it also monitors the user logins whenever they log in on any particular device on your network. And also we also have managed devices on your network. So this is just a typical view of how the architecture of SolarWinds user device tracker in your whenever you bring it or deploy it into your environment. So how does it now work? It uses SNMP calls to your network framework. So SolarWinds user device tracker uses SNMP calls to your network frameworks to provide real-time feedback on your monitored devices, users, and trends through statistics that are stored in the Orion platform database. So it uses SNMP calls to every of the devices that are being managed on your network. So if you have switches, you have routers, or any devices that are SNMP enabled, once you configure SNMP on those devices, whether SNMP version 1, SNMP version 2, SNMP version 3, for those of us that doesn't know what SNMP is a simple network management protocol, which is an internet standard protocol for collecting and organizing information about managed devices on an IP networks. So what it does, it collects some statistics. So you can actually use ICMP to also monitor, but ICMP will only monitor the up and down status. It's just like a ping request. It sends a ping request to those devices to know their uptime. So for you to be able to get statistics like the ports on all those switches, for you to be able to get their VLANs, for you to be able to do all those capabilities of doing port shutdown, you have to have SNMP enabled on those devices. And so once SNMP is enabled on those devices, you'll be able to manage them using your SolarWinds user device tracker, and you'll be able to track those devices. You'll be able to track the users' logins to those devices and other information and features that it has. So now let us talk about SolarWinds user device tracker features. The first one I'll be talking about is endpoint monitoring and wireless tracking. So under endpoint monitoring and wireless tracking, I have it helps you find wired and wireless endpoint devices on your network. So it locates endpoint devices on your network quickly and easily by just searching for a wireless or wired endpoint using their IP address, MAC address, or device vendor. This is only done when you have those devices managed on your on SolarWinds user device tracker already. Furthermore, if the device authenticates with Microsoft Active Directory, you can also search by username and hostname. So user device tracker reports which wireless access points or network switches and switch ports the endpoint device is connected to. Another feature that I want to actually mention under endpoint monitoring and wireless tracking is it also helps you monitor wireless access points. So in addition to quickly locating wireless and wired endpoint devices on your network or user devices, user device tracker monitors wireless access points. This will help you to actively identify faults and performance problems. For example, user device tracker can display via a single console the number of wireless devices that are connected to a wireless access point and more. Thirdly, I will be talking about effectively track wired and wireless endpoint devices under same endpoint monitoring and wireless tracking. So what it does is user device tracker maintains a history of layer 2 and layer 3 connections for all monitored wireless access points. So using this history, it can help you to reliably determine when a wireless or wired endpoint device is connected to the network, where the connection occurred, and in many cases, who was using the device. And this capability is extremely useful and saves time when conducting forensic or demonstrating compliance. The second feature I'll be talking about today is it helps to map and monitor switch ports. So alongside with tracking and monitoring user devices, UDT also can dictate what switch ports are on the network and correlate the usage of those ports with devices and users. So if you have switches or routers, once you manage them with SolarWinds user device tracker, it helps you to get all the switch ports on the network, and not only get the switch ports, but also correlates those usage of those ports with devices and the users that are using them at that particular time. UDT can create logical maps of the switches and associated ports, as well as provide control over the ports. With SolarWinds UDT, it allows you to easily discover switches operating at near capacity, as well as switches from which you can reclaim unused ports. And this helps you to make more informed about capacity planning and purchase decisions. So with UDT, you'll be able to have a real-time monitoring on your ports, so that you will know when you are almost exhausting your ports and you need to do a capacity. It helps you to do capacity planning, so you'll be able to know when to purchase a new device, instead of you just checking. We are humans and we might actually forget, okay, I might actually check today that I have 10 ports left on my switch. Then after 2 days, before I know it, I've told them to go and plug this to this place, plug this to that place, and before you know it, you are out of ports. So you need to have this kind of user device tracker in your environment, so you'll be able to monitor per time when you are running out of ports and you need to purchase a new switch or router, as well as switches from which you can reclaim unused ports. And this helps you to UDT also helps you with in-depth insights into port status and usage. It does not only monitor those ports alone, it monitors their status and their usage, the CPU load, memory used, and more. And one beautiful features that it does with switches is that it has automated switch port discovery. So once it begins monitoring devices immediately and saves you time and effort on tracking devices operating on the network, you can schedule regular scans to automatically discover new devices and ensure you have up-to-date of the view of the network. So this is one of the requirements I mentioned earlier. If you are as an organization or administrator, you are trying to purchase a network user device tracker, this is what UDT provides you with. It gives you the opportunity to create a scheduled discovery, whereby when you have any change on your network, it automatically gives an up-to-date of your network. So the third features I'll be talking about is network user and device watch list. So administrator can build comprehensive lists based upon policies that identify and track both users and device, providing a quick way to identify abnormal usage or connection. So you can create a device watch list by either the MAC address, IP address, or host name for both your wired and wireless devices. By tagging the suspicious device through UDT, you receive an alert the next time the specified device or user connects to the network. So this is another beautiful feature. This feature can help you locate maybe a missing device or a missing laptop or any endpoint per se on your network. Once you create a watch list, you can actually create a watch list by the MAC address. You can see from the pictures shown, you can actually create a MAC address for as a watch list, and also provide the description, like the one here, this has been reported missing since Monday. So once you create this watch list, what user device tracker does for you is that once that particular device that has this MAC address is being plugged to your network, it automatically sends you an alert to tell you that this particular address that you created on the watch list has been seen. So you can actually dictate where that particular device is being connected to, so far it's on your network, whatever switch port is connected to. Another feature is device whitelisting. So you can constantly monitor device or user network access with the whitelisting features. It identifies safe rogue devices attempting to access the network. Devices not on the whitelist appear in the rogue devices resource list, and alert is generated automatically. So once you create a whitelist of all the devices that is being managed with SolarWinds user device tracker, whenever it senses any MAC address or IP address that is not within the devices you've specified, that is when it creates, when you have already set a schedule discovery operation, whereby it checks your network part. Let's say you schedule it for every 12 a.m. per day. It checks your network to see if there's any change on the network. So once it discovers a device that is not on the whitelist created, it actually show those devices on rogue devices widgets, whereby you'll be able to either watch the device, or you can also save the device and add it to the whitelist. So known and unauthorized and authorized device can be whitelisted, providing a methodology to allow those devices to connect, and that allows administrator to be instantly informed if a device is not on the whitelist attempts to connect. You can also, another feature I would like to talk about is that you can also trace and block unauthorized users. It's not only devices, it easily identify and locate unauthorized users. So it helps you to quickly find rogue users on the LAN or wireless network by retrieving current and past connection information. You can quickly verify if the device is unauthorized. And SolarWinds UDT also seamlessly integrates with SolarWinds NetFlow Traffic Analyzer, which helps you to identify, locate, and block device users who unnecessarily hog network bandwidth. I am very sure this mostly happen in so many organizations, whereby you have a bandwidth you are using in your network, and you are experiencing slow internet, and this is just as a result of maybe users or staffs in the organization giving out maybe passwords to some people around the street or something, and they get to connect to your network and try to use more of your bandwidth. Those one will try to use more of your bandwidth than you that even owns the bandwidth. So if you have SolarWinds user device tracker in your environment, and you have actually created a whitelist of all the network of all the devices on your network, if you can seamlessly integrate it with SolarWinds Network Traffic Analyzer, which is another module of SolarWinds, so that you'll be able to identify those devices, because once those devices connect to your network, it senses them to be a rogue device, so you can automatically stop those devices, shut them down, or shut them down, so that they will not be able to access anything on the network, whether internet or access any resources on the network. And this is another way of correcting or going against cyber attacks. So another feature that is customizable network user and device report. So you can actually create user and device reports using out-of-the-box and community-generated templates. So it includes automated report notification to provide your management team with relevant information. So you can actually create report from out of the box reports. There are some reports that already came with the solution itself. You can see from the picture shown, you can see active endpoints per node. You can generate reports for that. Another beautiful thing you can do with reports here is that you can actually schedule a report. You can actually create a report to send an email, so you don't have to create your Excel report all the time, where you have to start typing, and you have to make your work easier as an administrator. So with SolarWinds User Device Tracker, you can send those reports to the recipients, so that your management team will be updated per time with the relevant information. So now let's talk about what makes SolarWinds User Device Tracker different from other network device tracker solutions. So in addition to being fast and highly effective, and automatically discovering, mapping, and monitoring switches, ports, network devices, enhanced capacity analysis, UDT is also designed to offer one, which is multi-vendor device support. So it comes equipped with multi-vendor device support compatible with many SNMP managed switches and access points. So this helps ensure devices within the network can be identified, monitored, and managed. So as an administrator, you don't have to be disturbed about the type of devices, the vendors of devices you have in your environment. SolarWinds supports user device tracker, supports multi-vendor devices. So far, they are SNMP enabled. So once you have those devices on your network, you are fine, and you'll be able to monitor them and track whatever thing you want to track, whether user devices, whether you want to manage your switch ports on your routers or switches with it. So another thing that you get with SolarWinds user device tracker than other network device tracking solution is, as soon as a remote port control, as soon as a rogue device has been detected or an issue arises, UDT can remotely shut down the port with click of a button simplicity, and this feature can help mitigate security risk and prevent network problems. So remote port control is another thing you get with SolarWinds UDT. Once it senses a rogue or a port or a device that it is not being known on the network, you can automatically, with a single click of a button simplicity, to shut down that particular port or shut down that particular device. So another one I'll be talking about is support for Cisco, Nexus, and Palo Alto networks. Yes, UDT supports network insight for Palo Alto devices, which allows you to identify which devices are connected to Palo Alto firewalls and provides details device tracking information. With UDT, it even allows you to gather data from ports through command line interface passing for Cisco Nexus. And lastly, you have automated threat remediation responses. With SolarWinds user device tracker in hand or in your environment, you can quickly respond to security threats anywhere at any time of the day. The network device locator can also send an alert each time an IP or MAC address connects to your network, and allows you to whitelist and add device to watch list with automatic alerts. When you add a computer to the watch list, you can then use the network device identifier to see when and where it connects to your network, whether the device has been on the network in the past, and its last known location once it's been disconnected. So now that I've actually spoken about the features of the SolarWinds user device tracker, enough of the talking. Let me just go ahead and let us have an interactive demo whereby I will take us through the platform, just a walkthrough of where you can actually see what I've been mentioning earlier, the features that I've actually mentioned earlier, and how you can actually deploy it in your environment. Okay, so I'll be using the demo website. Okay, now so we can see this is just the summary page of the device tracker. Although this demo has a lot of modules, but today we'll only be looking at device tracker, and I'll just be taking us through each and every widget here. As you can see, you cannot, this is not just the only widget you can have here. You can actually customize this page. That is another thing. You can customize this page. You can add as much as widgets as possible. I won't be able to do that because it's just a demo page. So you can actually add widgets to see more information just at a glance. So you don't have to really drill down. You can actually add widgets of whatever you want to see. Okay, so first thing this widget I'll be looking at all UDT nodes. SolarWinds recognize devices on your network that is being managed by it as nodes. So, and these widgets group them by their vendor, the status, and also the device itself. So you can see I have Cisco, I have Dell computer, I have Juniper networks, Netgear, Palo Alto networks, Sonic Wall. So if you actually drop this down, you'll be able to see it's grouped them by their statuses. You have devices that are up, the ones that are critical, the ones that has a warning state. You can actually still drop down to see all the devices that are up. You can drop down to see the devices that are critical. You can look into them to see whatever is causing. You can see the reason why it's giving that critical is because the percentage loss is 54%. So as network administrator, you need to fix that. Once you fix that, it automatically, once it does another polling, it automatically changes the status of that particular device. So once then let us just go ahead and look at we can see here we have total ports currently used. You have 633 and we have free 343. This gives you the total ports of all the managed endpoints that you have currently being managed, but you can actually still check it by each device. Let me just open a particular device here to show us that. Okay, so we can see ports currently in use on this particular device. Now we can see used 3, free. There are no current ports free. The total ports is 3, and currently you have used 100% of your ports. So you cannot actually add anything to this particular device any longer. You can see you have port details here. You have the port details here. These are the 3 ports that are connected. You have the ability to be able to shut down any port. You can actually do them right from this widget. Once you click shut down, it automatically shuts down the port. You can decide to turn it on back. You can actually show this list per the active port, the inactive port, and also here we have the information about the particular device. You can see the machine type, Cisco 3620. We have node category, network, all informations that you need to know, location, contact, the object ID. Then you can also check for the hardware health, the fan, the power supply, the temperature. Once the temperature rises above the threshold you've actually set while doing your configuration, you get an alert on it and it flags it. You can actually change that particular device node from up to probably critical or warning state. You can see the polling address. This is the IP address in which is using to poll for that particular device, and you can see the polling method is SNMP. So because it is SNMP, we can actually get more information on it. So statistics collection every 30 minutes. You can still modify this to a particular minutes, probably minutes that you want. You can see rediscovery interval 30 minutes. So next discovery 5:08 p.m. This means that it goes again and discover that particular device to see if there's any changes, and whatever it changes it got from the database, it automatically updates it here. Let us just go back to the summary page. There are still lots of things I would like to show. We can see endpoint vendors, gives a view of the endpoint vendors, windows, and all. You can see from here, we can see the top 10 nodes per percent ports used. You can see these ones you've exhausted the particular ports on this particular devices. These are active alerts, although these are alerts that have been propagated based on the populated based on the information that has been configured. There will still a point when I will show us through the alerts, and we'll just have an example of how to create a particular alert. So you can see alert me when a rogue MAC address appears on my network and all. So I would like to show, yes, we have the rogue device widget here. So once a particular device connects to your network, as I've explained earlier, and it's not on the whitelist which you've created, so it automatically senses those particular devices as rogue devices, and once it gets them, it populates them straight up to the console page. You can see here I have for the last 24 hours, these are the rogue devices I can see on my network. You can actually decide to click here to watch the device, or you can click here to add them and save them and to the whitelist list. So you can see this is a device watch list being created, and down here we can see all user logins. You can see most recent time, and you can also manage the domain controllers. You can add as much as possible domain controller in your environment so that you'll be able to get user information, and it will pull the admin Active Directory for informations about those users, not only the informations about those users, and also login informations about those users. It checks for the events on that particular Active Directory to give you that information on SolarWinds user device tracker. Let's go back. Let's go to, okay, so here you can decide to add device to your whitelist. This is where you can add device to your whitelist. Once you create a whitelist, either by the host name, the IP address, MAC address, or by vendors, it automatically saves them on your database. So once it discovers any other devices, it will flag them as rogue device. So let's just go and check for device inventory. So it also takes all inventory of all the devices that is being managed, and you can also come here to see which particular device is connected to each other. You can see I have AP0001 here. I have 3 devices. Once you check it, it shows you the devices that are connected to you. So this makes your work easier as an administrator to be able to locate a lot of things. You don't need to start going up and down your server room, start tracing cable. While doing that, it might actually cause a downtime on a particular link or something. So from here, you can actually see everything you actually want to see. You can, once you click on them, it shows you the devices that are connected to that particular And you can also, once you drill down, you can also see the ports that it's being connected to. Also, you can also do the device inventory by their vendors. Cisco, it brings all Cisco devices you have in your environment, the MAC address, the vendor, what is connected to, and on which port is it connected to. You can see all that information also here. Not only the device inventory, you can also get the user inventory also from this screen. You can see, you can check for their login. Let me check. I think this has populated more information. Okay, so this particular device is telling me that these are the users that have logged in into this particular devices, and you can see it's giving me the time and date. So you can track your users logins, you can track your device login, you can detect rogue device and do a lot on it. So let us just go ahead and show the alert capability, and let us just try to create one alert. I think that is one feature I can actually still showcase more on this demo page. Okay, you can see these are just the alerts that is being generated, although you have a lot of alerts because I have so many modules on this demo page, so it's not necessary all those alerts are for UDT. So now let's say I want to create an alert to alert me when it discovers a rogue device on my network. I just want to get an alert since I've created a whitelist. So I can just say alert me when a rogue device is on my network. Okay, it can still provide more information. You turn on the alert. So this evaluation frequency of the alert, evaluate the trigger condition every 1 minute. So this means it will check for that event after 1 minute. Once it sees that there's a condition that exists in that event, it will populate this alert. You can set the severity of that particular alert. So I just want to go next. I'm not going to do much here any longer. So this is where you really need to create your condition. This is where most administrators, at least so many people that have been trying to manage SolarWinds, make some mistakes and never get alerts when an issue occurs on their network. So now, because I'm creating for a rogue device, I'm going to search for rogue. I want to alert on rogue. Okay, rogue IP address. You can actually do for. You can see that you can do for rogue MAC address, not just only rogue. You can do for rogue DNS name, not just only rogue IP address. So now, if there's a particular device that I have on my network, and probably in one way or the other, it's got stolen or something, and I just want to actually still get to see that particular device whenever it comes to my network, I can actually say, using IP address might be kind of not giving you the complete task that you actually want, because if you are using a DHCP in your environment, once they plug a particular cable to that particular device, it might actually give it another IP address apart from the one it was given when you managed it. So you can just say MAC address. At least MAC address might not change. So I'm alerting on all objects in my environment, and I'm going to set the rogue MAC address to MAC address is equal to, so what I'll just do is to enter the value of that particular MAC address. So once I'm done with this alert, whenever that particular MAC address is being sensed on the network, it automatically gives me an alert to say a rogue device is being detected, and I'll be able to know that, okay, that is the particular device we're looking for. But if I just want to do a general IP address, and once it detects any device, so I'm not going to just use, I'm going to say rogue, then is equal to, it's not responding. Okay, yes, is equal to yes. So what this does is that once it senses in the database that, okay, there's a particular device that is not on the whitelist, it automatically populates this alert for me to show that, okay, there's a rogue device. Then I can decide to say, okay, if it's a device that I can recognize, but if it's not a device that I cannot recognize, you can actually shut down that particular port of that device. So you can see condition, you can decide to say, okay, just to verify can say maybe condition to exist for 1 minute. So it checks after 1 minute. When it sees that, it goes to the event and keeps checking and sees that, okay, it could still find a particular device, it will automatically populate this alert. But if let's say I say 1 minute and the person plugs the device in, and within 50 seconds it decides to plug out that device, it won't populate this alert because I have actually set the condition to be 1 minute. But for you to get to be proactive at your work, and because of network security, to prevent against cyber attacks, the best thing for you to do is not to set a condition for it to exist for maybe a particular minute or so. Immediately the device is being located on the network, it should automatically populate this alert for you. So after setting the trigger condition, we would say next. Okay, now the reset condition actually means that when you can decide to create a condition, create a special condition for it actually. But since you can actually say reset this alert when trigger condition is no longer true. That means you can see it's recommended. Once that trigger condition have actually set that once it discover a device to be rogue, it should populate an alert. Then it should send a reset action alert once you can see that that particular device is no longer true. So you can set the time of day in which you want this alert to work. You can specify maybe it should work maybe from schedule maybe 10 o'clock in the morning to a particular time. You can give it whatever schedule you want. But for you to be actively monitoring your network, the best thing for you to be always enabled. So whenever it dictates anything, whether in the midnight or during the day, you should get an alert. So now you want to set your trigger action. So this is where you specify whatever you want, how you want the alert to be sent. So where you said maybe it should send you an email address once it gets here. I can see there's a lot of things you can do here. You can actually email a web page, but one we use most is to send an email. So here you will specify the name of the action, you specify the recipient, to provide the user the email address of that particular recipient, and also the message, the content of the message. You can decide to edit it to your own to whatever you want it to say. But currently SolarWinds will give you a default one. You can see an issue on your object on your monitoring or code, blah blah blah. So this will actually send you an alert based on the information here, so you can actually edit, but you can't edit these variables because these are the things that will actually give you a link that actually looks into the database. These variables look into the database to actually verify that alert, which particular device is giving out the alert. So you don't need to edit these variables. What you need to edit is the text object, the plain text object, and set it at your own taste. Then you provide the SMTP server that will be responsible for that email action. So once that is done, you want to create a reset action. So this reset action, you can decide to leave it blank. Maybe you don't want to get an alert when the condition does not exist any longer. But if you want to know that, okay, this rogue device is no longer on my network, then you can actually set a reset action. Same way you set your trigger action to send an email or whatever you want it to do. Then you take a summary, then that's how you create an alert. You can create an alert based on anything not necessary for a rogue device. So now let's look into the report. It also has a report capability function whereby you can give reports. You can do away with your Excel reporting where you have to go to stress in creating reports. You can just come here, generate reports, provide the email address of whoever wants to receive the report and send it to them. Okay, so we have some out-of-box reports here for UDT. We have for capacity. So this will generate your capacity planning. Let me just open this report. So you can see this, you can send it to your management to show, okay, for this particular, you can see 100 ports, percent use. You can also still edit this report to whatever taste you want to be. These are just out of box reports. So you can create reports based on whatever you want to see on your report. So I think that would be that about SolarWinds user device tracker. So now I would like to take your questions if you have any. If there's anything that I've said that's not really you want to get clarity upon, or if there's any question you would like to know, or if there's anything you want to actually ask about the solution, welcome to any question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Temitayo, for that insightful session, the presentation and the demo. Please, we'll be taking questions now. If you have any questions, please raise your hand by using the raise your hand feature in your Microsoft Teams meeting window. We have just a few minutes before we end today's session. I'll just give about a minute to get questions. If you don't get any questions, we'll just wrap up from there. We're holding on for any possible questions. Okay, so I'm assuming Temitayo was able to take us in depth on this topic, and everyone has great understanding of SolarWinds UDT. So we'll be ending today's session. Thank you all for joining. I shared the survey link for everyone to fill. So I'm going to share that again, just in case you didn't see it earlier. Please endeavor to fill the survey. The recording will be made available to everyone on this call. We appreciate you attending. Thank you all. Thank you, Temitayo, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Chisom. Thank you all.
Thank you.